Microbes as biofertilizers, bacteria, fungi and cyanobacteria. Microbes in household products, yes, definitely in everyday life we come across the use of microbes. Explain the stages of sewage treatment. This is also very important question from examination point of view. I explained about the use of microbes in industrial production of industrial products. So how are they useful in producing the household products is very important. Even this is very important. Hi, hello everyone. Welcome back to the revision session of chapter 8 of second PUC biology called Microbes in Human Welfare. Myself, B. Shobarani from the Department of Biology, Vidhyaashram Pre-University College, the Temple of Excellence. So this particular chapter, I think you can see in this beautiful diagram, what am I going to discuss in this particular session? The concepts related to microbes. And this particular chapter called Microbes in Human Welfare has a weightage of 8 marks. So in this particular revision session of this chapter called Microbes in Human Welfare, I am going to discuss about the important concepts along with the important questions that were asked in the previous year question paper and the important and the type of questions that are going to appear in the coming examination related to this particular chapter called Microbes in Human Welfare. We all know that microbes are cosmopolitan in distribution, found everywhere, found in air, water, soil, even inside our bodies. We all know that microbes are cosmopolitan in distribution, found everywhere, found in air, water, soil, inside our bodies and in plants and animals. These microbes are diverse group of organisms. There might be protozoans, fungi, viruses, bacteria, viroids and prions. So that branch of biology which deals with the study of microbe is called microbiology. Always we think that microbes are disease-causing organisms, but at the same time we have not seen the other phase of microbes where they are quite useful to mankind. So in this particular chapter called Microbes in Human Welfare, the very word itself will tell you microbes in human welfare. How are they useful to mankind? In what way they are helping and in what walks of life these microbes play a great role. Moving on to the flow chart, microbes in human welfare. Microbes as biocontrol agents. Microbes can be used as what? Biocontrol agents. Instead of using the toxic chemicals as fertilizers and pesticides, we can use them as biocontrol agents so that we can overcome the use of chemicals, that is the fertilizers and pesticides. So microbes as biocontrol agents, insecticides, bacteria, then viruses and fungi, then microbes as biofertilizers, bacteria, fungi and cyanobacteria. Microbes in household products, yes, definitely in everyday life we come across the use of microbes. Like for example, the curdling of milk, then making of idli dosa, the duff, toddy, a traditional drink, then cheese. This is having a lot of commercial value in the market. So these are all like the uses of microbes. Microbes as biocontrol agents, microbes as biofertilizers and microbes in household products. Microbes in sewage treatment. Imagine in everyday life the large amount of sewage that is produced. That is along with the household waste, domestic waste, even sewage waste that is produced need to be treated. It cannot be let off in the same manner to the environment as it is going to cause pollution. So it has to be treated. So here we also use the microbes in sewage treatment. Microbes in sewage treatment where we have the two very important steps in sewage treatment. In sewage treatment plants, which is called short form is STP, that is the first treatment that is done for the sewage is called physical treatment and the second treatment that is done is called biological treatment. Then microbes in industrial products. Yes, of course, day by day the industries are increasing and even the products that are manufactured in the industries increase a to a greater extent. But in what way these microbes help in the production of the industrial products? Maybe like in the fermented beverages, then antibiotics as bioactive molecules, then chemicals, acids and alcohols, like we have citric acid, acetic acid, lactic acid and butyric acid. Then enzymes, particularly we come across lipases, then we have pectinases. Particularly we use this pectinases for clearing the drinks, like soft drinks. Then proteases, then streptokinase. Anyhow, I'm going to discuss in the coming slides what are the uses of all these different types of microbes in industrial products. Moving on to the multiple choice questions. So what type of multiple choice questions might be asked pertaining to this particular chapter called Microbes in Human Welfare? As we all know that there is a change pattern in your question paper where part A, first main question has multiple choice questions of 15 questions in number, and what might be the type of, I have just given one example to make you understand the type of questions that might be asked in this particular chapter. So question number 1, that is MCQs it is. Which one of the following alcoholic drink is produced without distillation? Is it wine? Is it whiskey? Is it rum? Or is it brandy? So the option is wine. So the alcoholic drink which is produced without distillation is wine, whereas the other alcoholic drinks are produced through distillation. So option A is the right answer. Moving on to question number 2. Explain the role of microbes in industrial products. Let us discuss one by one. Production of microbial products useful to human beings on an industrial scale requires growing microbes in very large vessels called fermenters. Like from Aspergillus niger we get citric acid, Acetobacter aceti acetic acid, Clostridium botulicum that is butyric acid, Lactobacillus lactic acid, yeast Saccharomyces cerevisiae which is we get ethanol, then Penicillium notatum which is called the wonder drug, the antibiotic that is produced that is the penicillin, then Streptococcus that is streptokinase, Trichoderma polysporum cyclosporin A and Monascus purpureus statin. So these are all the different microbes and the products that are extracted that are produced to these microbes. So this is a very, very important question. Based on this good number of questions, particularly the 5-marker questions where we have the split questions. So these particularly the split questions will be asked from this particular concepts of the different microbes and their industrial products. Then write the use of nucleopolyhedrovirus. So what are the use of nucleopolyhedrovirus? They are species specific narrow spectrum insecticides. They kill insecticides, or they are called as what? Biocontrol agents. Instead of using insecticides, pesticides, chemical fertilizers, we can use this as biocontrol agents. Next, what are biofertilizers? We know fertilizers, but what is it? Why is it called biofertilizers? Here, biofertilizers are organisms. We use the organisms which enrich the soil fertility, that enrich the nutrient quality of the soil. Hence the name biofertilizers. Question number 5. Write the function of statin. Already I told you. So statin is used as a blood cholesterol lowering agent. This is very, very important question. So what is the function of statin? It is used as a blood cholesterol lowering agent. Question number 6. Name the microbe used to produce. So in the previous question I told the microbes and the industrial products that are extracted from that particular microbe. Citric acid, which is the microbe. Aspergillus niger, which produces citric acid. Acetic acid is produced by Acetobacter aceti. This is for 2-marker question. Moving on to the next question. Explain typical biogas plant with a neat label diagram. So this is a very, very important diagram. It is like if you can go through the previous question paper, this is one such diagram from this particular chapter which is very important from examination point of view. If you learn this diagram, it is like you will get you have 3 marks, and if it is only diagram, it is for 3 marks. If it is asked with explanation, it is 5 marks. So this is a very, very important diagram, a typical biogas plant. Here you can see the experimental setup, that is the biogas plant with dung water here. Here it is the digester. Here you can see methane and carbon dioxide. and this is the gas holder from where the gas is received. And the sludge, that is the cow dung that is put there. So here you can just imagine how important this diagram is from examination point of view. So here it is given, explain a typical biogas plant with a neat label diagram. So this is the diagram you are supposed to draw and explain the important concepts of this diagram. Like it goes like this. The biogas plant consists of what? A concrete tank measuring how much? 10 to 15 feet deep, in which bio waste are collected and slurry of dung is fed. Next, a floating. So first step is this one. A floating cover is placed over the slurry, which keeps on rising as the gas is produced. Now, what is the gas that is produced and what is the microbe that is involved in the production of methane gas? It is methanogens. Microbial activity. It is due to microbial activity. You can see the rising of the gas. Next, the biogas plant has an outlet. So once the gas is produced, the outlet where to receive the gas, which is connected to a pipe to supply biogas to a nearby house. There are many places where you can see even the light is lit by the biogas. Yes, of course, the cooking is also done by biogas. Used slurry is removed through another outlet and may be used as what? Fertilizer. Even the slurry, the leftover, can also be used as what? Fertilizer, which is a very good fertilizer. We can also call it as organic manure. Then the biogas thus produced is used for cooking and even for lighting. The technology, who introduced this technology of biogas production? It was developed in India by the efforts of IARI. Expand IARI, they'll ask you. What is IARI standing for? Indian Agricultural Research Institute. And KVIC, that is Khadi and Village Industries Commission. This is very, very important. So please remember this IARI as well as KVIC. So these two were the organizations which were responsible for developing this technology of biogas production. One is IARI, expand IARI, that is Indian Agricultural Research Institute. Indian Agricultural Research Institute. KVIC, Khadi and Village Industries Commission. Khadi, Village and Industries Commission. So these two words, these two expansions are very, very important. So this is the explanation for the biogas plant along with the diagram, which is very important from examination point of view. Next, write the scientific name of the fungus which produce cyclosporin A. Now, cyclosporin A is produced by a fungus called Trichoderma polysporum. Next, which bacteria is commonly found in the anaerobic sludge during sewage treatment? Methanogens or methanobacterium. Explain the stages of sewage treatment. This is also very important question from examination point of view. Now, this is like a mandatory question. You need to learn this because definitely you might get a question pertaining to this particular concept for the explanation of sewage treatment. As I said, sewage cannot be let off into the open environment without treatment as it is going to cause pollution. So it is treated in STP, that is sewage treatment plant. So what is the steps that are involved? First is the primary treatment. Second one is the secondary treatment. Secondary treatment. First one, primary treatment, you call it as physical. Secondary treatment, you call it as biological. You call it as biological. Now, what is the steps that are involved in primary treatment? Involves the physical removal of particles large and small from sewage through filtration and sedimentation. So, involves what is the first step? The physical removal, or hence it is called physical treatment. Involves the physical removal of particles large and small from sewage through filtration and sedimentation. Second one, initially floating debris is removed by sequential filtration. The grit. So what is that grit? Containing soil and small pebbles are removed by sedimentation. All solids that settle from the primary sludge and the supernatant forms the effluent. Then the effluents are from the primary settling tank taken for secondary treatment. So this is the primary treatment. Now what is that? It is going to happen in the secondary treatment, which is also called as biological treatment. First step, the primary effluent. So whatever effluent that has been received through primary treatment is passed into large aeration tanks. Then this allows vigorous growth of useful anaerobic microbes, which is called phlox. Phlox play a very great role in sewage treatment. So the growth of microbes consumes the major part of the organic matter in the effluent. This significantly reduces the BOD. What is BOD? Biochemical oxygen demand of the effluent. More the BOD, more is the pollution. So more the organic matter. So lesser the BOD, lesser the organic matter. Now, how do we define this word called BOD? This is also very important. BOD refers to the amount of oxygen required to oxidize total organic matter by bacteria present in 1 liter of water. So this is a very important definition, BOD. What is BOD defined? They'll ask. You can also use BOD as a measure of the organic matter present in the water. Greater the BOD, greater is the organic matter present in the wastewater, and more the pollution. Once the BOD of sewage is reduced significantly, the effluent is then passed into the settling tank where the bacterial flocks, very important, they are nothing but mesh-like structures, fungal filaments, are allowed to sediment. This sediment is called activated sludge. So next, small part of activated sludge is pumped back to aeration tank to serve as the inoculum. Just like, what do you mean by inoculum? Like just for curdling, we add little bit of curds to the milk. So in a similar way, small part of activated sludge is pumped back to aeration tank to serve as the inoculum. The remaining sludge is pumped into anaerobic sludge digester. In the anaerobic sludge digester, there is other kind of bacteria which grow anaerobically, digest the bacteria and fungi in the sludge. So during this digestion, bacteria produce what? Biogas. What is this biogas containing? A mixture of very important methane, hydrogen sulfide H2S and CO2, that is carbon dioxide CH4, hydrogen sulfide, and that is methane, hydrogen sulfide and carbon dioxide. The effluent from the secondary treatment plant is released into natural water body like rivers and streams. So this is the secondary treatment. These are the very important points that you need to write for the secondary treatment. So primary treatment and secondary treatment are the two very important steps in sewage treatment plant, sewage treatment plant. Moving on to next question. Write the scientific name of the source organism for citric acid. Obviously it is what? Aspergillus niger. Question number 12. Explain the role of 3 organisms as biocontrol. What is the significance of BOD? Give an example for a fungus found in mycorrhiza. This is a 5-marker question, which is a split question. Already I told you, particularly for 5-marker and 3-marker question, they'll ask split questions. So here, explain the role of 3 organisms as biocontrol, 3 marks. What is the significance of BOD? 1 mark. Give an example for a fungus found in mycorrhiza, 1 mark. So 2 plus 1 plus 1. 2, that is 3 plus 1 plus 1. 3, that is explain the role of 3 organisms. So use of biocontrol measures will greatly reduce our dependence on toxic chemicals and pesticides. Obviously, instead of using the toxic chemicals and pesticides and insecticides, instead we can use biocontrol agents, so which will reduce our dependence on the toxic chemicals as fertilizers. So example 1, the ladybird, a familiar beetle with red and black markings, which I showed you in the first picture of the session, where you saw a familiar beetle with red and black markings, and dragonflies are useful to get rid of aphids and mosquitoes respectively. So this is one example. Second example, Bacillus thuringiensis, which is commonly called as BT, used to control butterfly caterpillars. Then dried spores are mixed with water and sprayed onto vulnerable plants, plants which are prone to butterfly caterpillars, which is going to destroy the crop. Plants such as brassica and fruit trees, where these are eaten by the insect larvae. And what happens in the gut of the larvae? The toxin is released and the larvae get killed. So obviously you can avoid the pests. So third example, Trichoderma, a free-living fungus used to control several plant pathogens. Another one is baculoviruses are pathogens that attack insects and other arthropods. The majority of baculoviruses used as biocontrol agents are in the genus of what? Nucleopolyhedrovirus. Next, these viruses are excellent candidates for species-specific narrow-spectrum insecticidal application. They have no negative impacts on plants, mammals, birds, fish, etc. This is very useful in integrated pest management program, which is called IPM. Then second question, as I said, what is the second question? What is the significance of BOD? What is the significance of BOD? Already I told you, BOD is a measure of the organic matter present in the water. Lesser the BOD, more the BOD, more will be the organic matter. Lesser the BOD, less will be the organic matter. So it is like it's a measure. More BOD, more pollution. Less BOD, less pollution. Next, what is the next question? Give an example for a fungus found in mycorrhiza. The answer is glomus. Next, same thing. I told her, define BOD. How do you give the exact definition for biochemical oxygen demand? BOD refers to the amount of oxygen required to oxidize total organic matter by bacteria present in 1 liter of water. Next, question number 14. Mention the role of methanobacterium in rumen of cattle, helping in breaking down of cellulose. Moving on to question number 15. Describe the role of microbes in sewage treatment plant. Already I explained this. After the primary treatment, the plant, that is treatment plant, effluent is taken for secondary treatment or biological treatment. Effluent is constantly agitated mechanically, air pumped into it, and it allows vigorous growth of anaerobic microbes into flocks. Microbes use organic matter to reduce BOD. Effluent passed into settling tank where bacterial flocks allowed to sediment, which is called activated sludge. Small part of activated sludge is pumped back into aeration tank to serve as what? Inoculum, and the remaining part is pumped into large tanks called anaerobic sludge digester. Other kinds of anaerobically grown bacteria digest the bacteria and the fungi in sludge. Bacteria produce mixture of gases, methane, hydrogen, sulfide and carbon dioxide. Question number 16. Mention the commercial importance of Monascus purpureus. Produces statin. You know, Monascus purpureus produce what? Statin, which is used as a what? Blood cholesterol lowering agent. Next, what are flocks? I told you, a very important concept pertaining to sewage treatment. What are flocks? Masses of bacteria associated with fungal filaments to form mesh-like structures during secondary treatment. This is very important. Usually, most of the question papers have this particular question asked, what are flocks? So, what are flocks? Flocks are masses of bacteria associated with fungal filaments to form mesh-like structure during secondary treatment of sewage. Next, question number 18. Mention the use of statin. Already I told. So there are, the twist and ask questions pertaining to the various concepts what we have discussed in this particular chapter called Microbes in Human Welfare. So they might ask in different forms the questions. So mention the use of statin. It is used as a blood cholesterol lowering agent. Next, which bioactive molecule is used as an immunosuppressive agent? That is cyclosporin A, particularly during organ transplantation. Next, explain the role of microbes in household products. So in the previous slide, I explained about the use of microbes in industrial production of industrial products. So how are they useful in producing the household products is very important. Even this is very important question from examination point of view. The role of microbes in household food product. Everyday life we use the microbes in one form or the other. So like for example, the curdling of milk or making of the idli dosa batter. So every day in one form or the other we are using these microbes and we know how useful they are, and even in making of cheese, which is having a lot of commercial importance, right? So lactic acid bacteria, which is commonly called as lab, grow in milk and convert it into curd. So lab produces acids that coagulate. Coagulate means clumping. We all know that curds will have the clumps and partially digest milk proteins. A small amount of curd added to fresh milk as inoculum or starter. Usually when we want to prepare curd at home, we add a small amount of curd to the milk. It is added as a starter or a inoculum. So now what is the function of lab? How is it useful to mankind? Lab improves what? The nutritional quality of milk. by increasing vitamin B12. So curd has lot of nutritional value which is enriched with which vitamin? Vitamin B12. So that is the reason. So in everyday life, we should make sure that in our everyday diet, our plate should have this curds. Next, lab plays very important role in checking diseases causing microbes. So why do you need to take curds in everyday life? It is going to even kill the bacteria that is there in the stomach. Next, duff, the batter what we make, used to make dosa and idli, is also fermented by the bacteria. So all of us know when we make the idli and dosa batter, there is a puffy appearance. And that puffy appearance is due to the production of what? CO2, which makes the duff very soft. Next, baker's yeast, of course, like when we go to a bakery, we would like to have a bread which is very soft. What is that which makes the bread soft? It is the baker's yeast, that is Saccharomyces cerevisiae, in making the bread. We don't like to have bread which is very hard. Usually we find that bread buns are all very soft. And what is that which makes that softness and the puffy appearance of the bread? The holes what we can see is all due to the production of CO2, that is baker's yeast. Toddy, all of us know that it's a very important, it's a traditional drink which is made by fermentation of sap from the palm. Next, large holes in Swiss cheese. A very famous cheese called Swiss cheese is due to the production of large amount of carbon dioxide by a bacterium named Proponium bacterium shermani. This particular concept is very important. What is that which makes the Swiss cheese, the large holes in the Swiss cheese? It is due to Propionibacterium bacterium shermani. Next, the Roquefort cheese, another type of cheese which is called Roquefort cheese, is ripened by specific fungi which gives specific flavor. Cheese also have different flavors. So the Roquefort cheese is ripened by specific fungi which gives specific flavor. Next, discuss the role of fungi as biofertilizer. This is also very important. How do fungi? Already I told you, microbes are of diverse groups, like there might be protozoans, fungi, viruses, viroids, prions, etc. So in this particular question, we have to discuss the role of fungi as biofertilizers. So one such fungi called mycorrhiza is symbiotically associated with root of plants. Many members of the genus called glomus form mycorrhiza. It provides what? Phosphorus to the plant. How are they benefited? It provides symbiotic relationship is what? Each one is benefited. So it provides phosphorus to the plants from the soil, make the plant resistant to root-borne pathogen and increase tolerance to salinity and drought. So that's a very useful, particularly mycorrhiza is used as a biofertilizer. Next, disposal of sewage into water without proper treatment may cause outbreak of serious diseases. Give reason, very important it is. Already I explained the steps that are involved in sewage treatment. Sewage not only contains the domestic waste, it also contains the excreta of human and all other disease-causing organisms. So if it is let off into the water body without treatment, definitely it is going to cause serious diseases. So before it is let off into the water body, into the environment, it has to be treated. And that treatment is done in the sewage treatment plant through two very important steps called the primary treatment, which is called a physical treatment, and the secondary treatment, which is called biological treatment. So because why before it is let off, why you should treat it in sewage treatment plant? Because sewage is likely to contain what? Many undesirable pathogens, disease causing organisms, microorganisms. Next, mention the bacterium responsible for the large holes in Swiss cheese. I told you this is how they twist and ask questions. So what is that which causes the large holes in Swiss cheese? It is because of the carbon dioxide that is produced by Propionibacterium shermani. Next, what are biofertilizers? So here, discuss the role of fungi as biofertilizers. Here, what are biofertilizers? Biofertilizers are the organisms that enrich the nutrient quality of the soil. Hope you all have understood the important concepts what I have explained pertaining to this particular chapter called Microbes in Human Welfare. This is a very important chapter also from examination point of view, as it has a weightage of 8 marks. So in this particular session, revision session of this particular chapter called Microbes in Human Welfare, I have tried to explain the important questions that were asked in the previous years. So like you will get an idea like what type of questions might be asked pertaining to this particular chapter called Microbes in Human Welfare. Thank you.